Hey there guys, what's up? Ragtter here, welcoming you back to Ladder Anxiety. We are going to be relaxing with some Pokémon Showdown tonight, because competitive games, while they can be pretty intimidating, can also be a good form of unwinding and just letting go. And we have Swampert, Zoroark, Cofagrigus, Slowking, Clefable, and Gliscor. I kind of just want to switch into Gliscor because, yes, there we go, we got poisoned, and we've got Poison Heal. So that played perfectly into what I want. So now let's go for some Stealth Rocks, just because now we're immune to status, so we can't be Will-O-Wisped. And we should be able to take, yeah, we can take any hit from this thing any day. Now it's Earthquake time. So basically, we're going to be sitting down and we're going to play a couple games, or maybe just this one, depending on how long it goes, just to unwind, just to have a nice, pleasant time. Because even if we lose, we can still learn a lot, and we can still have an experience that was worth having. Now, we've gone and absolutely ruined this Talonflame. So let's go for Toxic. Oh, we missed that. My opponent was definitely anticipating the switch, having gone for that Will-O-Wisp, and they're gonna forfeit. I can't say I blame them. Gliscor is a pretty tricky opponent. Alright, so we are gonna look for another one in that case. And here we go. So I actually get a pretty good lead right off the bat, with Hitmontop versus Avalugg. And we've also got Leavanny, Bronzong, Zekrom, Gyarageist, and Shedinja. So let's go for the Toxic. And we're both going to fire off simultaneous Toxics. Now, I think I'm going to go into Shedinja, because I don't think Avalugg has any moves to hit it with. Jirachi shouldn't either. So let's go for the Will-O-Wisp onto Jirachi. And now let's go for the Shadow Claw. We are going to be able to do a nice chunk of damage to poor Jirachi, but we're going to go down to the Toxic, which is perfectly okay. I basically got everything I wanted out of that Shedinja, so I can't really be upset about that. Okay, now it's time to go into Bronzong. And let's go for a Reflect. Now, I don't have any means of spinning, but none of my Pokemon are really weak to that, so I'm not too upset. Let's just go for Earthquake. As Jirachi's gonna U-turn out. It's still got that burn, I've got to remember that, so that damage could factor in later. And Genesect is gonna come out. Less than optimal, but that's okay. I'm tempted to hit Explosion, but we could use Bronzong for later, and we did actually do a lot of damage. So let's just go for it. Ooh, Bronzong brought quite low by that Technoblast. In the end, I think I'm going to let it go down. So Bronzong will fall. Got about 190 speed there. Leavanny outspeeds it, but Leavanny doesn't really have anything to hit with. I could go for the Will-O-Wisp with Gyarageist. Let's put our faith in Leavanny. And let's go for a knockoff. So that's probably a Fire-type Technoblast then. I don't know if the model on Genesect changes. But with that in mind, we can probably go into Hitmontop here. And go for a Mach Punch. Oh, I forgot I have Rapid Spin. I have Rapid Spin on this Hitmontop. So Technoblast not going to be able to pick up the KO onto Hitmontop. So let's go for one more, as Jirachi's brought back out, and Jirachi will go down to that. My opponent waiting out the Toxic on Hitmontop. Going to bring in Vivian instead. Let's try and get off a Rapid Spin. That'll break Vivian's... It's not actually carrying a Sash. But that'll get rid of the rocks from Avalugg. So I can bring in my other Pokemon more easily. And now let's go for Mach Punch, just to get some damage off. So Vivian very smartly going for a Quiver Dance. But let's see if that's enough to stand up to Zekrom. Vivian going to get the Sleep Powder off, but I've got a Lumberry. And my Bolt Strike going to be able to pick up the KO onto Vivian. And now Licky Licky has come in. I'm going to go into Gyarageist. Licky Licky going for the Earthquake. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. I actually end up... That worked out perfectly. Genesect is going to go down. I'm not sure if my opponent just wanted to sack that off, or if that just ended up working out serendipitously for me. But Licky Licky gonna come back out. Now I'm gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp again, just because I really have no reason not to. Licky Licky going for the knockoff, which is not optimal, but I can still come back from this. So let's go for Leech Seed now. That damage starting to add up, but so is the damage being done to Licky Licky. And I've got Synthesis, so I'm going to hit that. Avalugg's going to come back out, and going to take a little Toxic damage. I basically need Gyarageist to hang on so that Zekrom doesn't have to take damage from this. So let's go for Leech Seed. Gonna take a Toxic in return, but with the Leech Seed, this Avalugg's going to run out of HP way before I do. So let's just go for Seed Bomb, just to do a little bit of damage. A critical hit's going to do 22%. Gyarageist's going to be knocked very low. Going to be able to hang on because of the Leech Seed damage, though. That's very, very handy. So I'm going to go for the Synthesis, just to try and stay in here one more turn. And I'm really tempted to go... Let's go for the Leech Seed again. Can I hang on one more turn? I can, in fact, hang on just another turn because of the Leech Seed recovery. So, Synthesis up again. Basically force Licky Licky and Avalugg to take as much damage as possible. And one more Synthesis, just to be as annoying as possible. And Licky Licky's gonna go down to the Leech Seed damage. And let's see what my opponent brings in retaliation. It's gonna be the Haxorus. Now I'm not sure I can get anything off onto Haxorus, but nope, I'm in fact gonna go down. Haxorus shows that it is a Life Orb variant. And at this point all I can do is click Outrage and hope. Zekrom going to be able to take the Dragon Claw, going to be able to fire off the Outrage in return. Let's see if we can't pick up the KO onto Avalugg. We've whittled it down as much as we can. Oh, down to 3%. That was an excellent match. Very close, very close. Let's look for one more, just to end the episode off on. So I'm going to lead off with Clefable. My opponent's going to lead off with Sawsbuck. This actually works out for me because I have a Fire-type move. I'm anticipating Sawsbuck to maybe switch, but I also have a very frail team, so I'm not entirely willing to risk my bulkiest mon right away. I'm just going to go for the Fire Blast. Going to do a nice chunk of damage, actually. Sawsbuck going to get a little bit of HP back because of the leftovers. Let's go for the Fire Blast again, as Sawsbuck goes for the Baton Pass. Fingers crossed it's not to a Flash Fire Pokemon, because if it is, we are in trouble right away. It's actually to Swampert. And my Fire Blast is going to end up missing. But I should have answers to the Swampert as opposed to Sawsbuck. I actually don't. Let's go for the Calm Mind. Okay, never mind. Let's go into Umbreon. And now, let's see how much a Foul Play will do. Not a whole lot. Oh my goodness, I'm about to get swept. But that's okay. These kinds of things happen. You just gotta roll with the punches. Now, I do have Hidden Power Grass on my Typhlosion, but I was hoping I would not have to come in, use my Choice Scarf on Hidden Power Grass to try and pick up the KO onto Swampert. And I can't even pick up the KO. Goodness golly gracious. Alright, Tauros should be able to handle this from now. Let's go Double Edge. So we are finally able to pick up a KO, though it does cost Tauros 25% HP out of recoil. And now Pangoro is going to be brought in. Now I should be able to do a nice chunk of damage with my Double Edge. Almost going to be able to pick up the KO actually. And the superpower in turn is going to weaken Pangoro for my next Pokemon. So I'm down to 2 already, but my last 2 are pretty good in Greninja and Thundurus. So I'm going to Volt Switch on Thundurus. I've got a Choice Scarf. I'm definitely faster than anything on his team. I have to be careful with Thundurus. If I get the right matchup, then Thundurus Therian can win me the rest of the game. If I get the wrong matchup, then I will lose because of Thundurus Therian. So my opponent's got a Zekrom. This is one of those moments that I might lose. Right. I think what I just do is click Dark Pulse, hope for a flinch. We do actually get a flinch. Can we fish for a second one is the question though. And just to keep the show rolling, I'm going to start the timer because we don't have all night. This is a random battle, so we just got to keep the pace going. Just makes it a little bit easier for me in editing, really. And my opponent going to switch into a Slacking, which is not what I wanted to see in the slightest bit. And I think here I go for Toxic Spikes. I'm wondering if my opponent thinks I'm choiced in some way? No, I've shown the Life Orb. Never mind. Slacking actually going to outspeed Greninja. Is that a Choice Scarf? Well, the only thing I can do now is to go into Thundurus. And I'm going to lock myself into Thunderbolt. One more Thunderbolt should be able to pick up the KO. If we're choiced versus choiced, I lose! Oh my goodness. So now Sawsbuck comes back out. I should have gone with Hidden Power Flying, but it just doesn't have the power that I'm looking for. A critical hit's going to be able to knock out Sawsbuck, though. And now Zekrom's going to come back out. I definitely lose to the Zekrom. Unless it misses all of its attacks. Yep. That's GG. Well, those weren't the closest games ever. I did get my butt kicked a few times, but that's the name of the game. You don't have to win every game, and you don't always have to do well to have fun. I got to pull off some pretty impressive stuff, like with that Gyarageist, and that was a lot of fun, honestly. So don't ever be intimidated by people being better, or people having more knowledge, or people being luckier than you. Because you can still have a good time, and you can still pull some impressive tricks out of your hat. You just gotta try. Take the first step. I will see you guys next time when we return to Ladder Anxiety. If this episode did help you out, then please let me know with a like and a comment down below telling me how much fun you've had, and I will see you next time. Until then, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye!